You ever wake up thinking it's just another quiet morning, just you, the mist hanging over your lake, the world still half asleep, and then out of nowhere someone starts screaming across the water like they're summoning the devil himself. You are trespassing on community water. That's what she yelled. Margot, standing right on my property line, flapping some rolled-up map like it was the Ten Commandments, and she was Moses, except her high heels were sinking deeper into my muddy shore every second. She thought she'd come here and evict a helpless old widower, but the truth is she just stumbled straight into a trap my granddad set half a century ago. And I was damn sure going to spring it. Now I know you're watching this for the drama. Go ahead, drop where you're tuning in from down in the comments. I want to see if anyone's ever dealt with water rights crazier than mine. And if you stick around, you'll see how a lie can drown an empire faster than a busted dam. See, this lake's never just been water to me. Used to be my Hazel would sit out on the porch in her old wicker chair watching the morning fog slide off the surface, saying the water was breathing, living. I thought she was just being poetic, but after 40 years as a hydrologist, I know she was right. This is a living, breathing system, old as time, running with cold, clear water, filtered through a mile of limestone. Same water my grandfather bought in 1948 when this place was just wild brush and hope. After Hazel passed, keeping that lake healthy felt like the only way I could keep a piece of her from fading for good. So every day I'd be out there with my sensor probes and waterproof logbook, writing down oxygen levels and water temps, just checking the lake's pulse like a nurse with a patient nobody else remembers. But the world's got a short memory these days. Folks on the outside, they don't care about what they can't sell, pave, or snap a picture of for Instagram. That's why it shook me so bad that morning when Margot and her entourage trampled Hazel's ferns like they were nothing, strutting out of the rhododendrons like they owned the place. Margot, crimson blazer, shark eyes, dragging behind her some poor camera guy barely old enough to shave. They set up 10 feet from me, not so much as a good morning, just hammering a metal stake into my shore with a bright yellow sign, Future Community Lake Access. You believe that? Just planting a flag like the moon landing? My hands itched to rip that sign out, but science taught me patience. Assess, don't escalate, don't. I don't recall authorizing any signage on this land. I called out low and steady. She just smirked, looked me up and down like I was a piece of driftwood. Oh, don't be dramatic, old-timer. I'm Margot, president of Pineview Homeowners Association, and we're just catching the light for our new brochure. Move your fishing gadgets and we'll be done. Gadgets. The woman was selling a fairy tale, but I was about to give her a crash course in reality. That's a hydrologic monitoring station, ma'am. And you're standing on private land. Your development rights end 300 yards back at the ridgeline, I told her, calm as an old oak. She actually laughed, waved her little map like it was a magic wand. New drainage overlays classify this basin as a community retention pond. It's a shared amenity now. HOA's got access. I swear I felt my blood turn to ice. She was confusing a 10,000-year-old glacial lake with a ditch. It's an aquifer-fed Lake Margot, and a drainage overlay doesn't override a 1948 warranty deed. Her camera guy, Leo, shot her a nervous glance. Maybe we should double-check the plat maps. But she barked at him. Take the damn picture. Leo then hissed at me that progress was coming with or without me. 2 days later, it wasn't just Margot at my shore. It was a herd of prospective buyers in crisp polos and khakis, all chattering like they were at an open house, not trespassing on my land. She was leading the charge, shouting about Crystal Lagoon, promising them full access to kayak, paddleboard, and fish, spinning this wild story about how they'd have the rights to my lake. I stormed down with my deed, the original yellowed, signed in 48, ready to draw my line in the mud. That's a lie, I said, loud enough to carry over the water. Margot didn't blink, just shifted into high gear, calling me the neighbor who's confused about zoning, telling them not to worry, the HOA legal team was handling things. But I wasn't letting her gaslight me or them. If you buy a lot for lake access, you're buying a lawsuit, not a lifestyle, I said, waving the deed. One man frowned. But the brochure says deeded access, I shot back. The brochure is a fraud. Step closer. You're trespassing on a federally protected wetland. That's when Margot lost her cool, shrieking that I was harassing her clients, calling the sheriff. By the time Sheriff Miller rolled up, Margot was playing the victim, shoving a laminated map in his face, swearing the county's new overlays made it all HOA land. Miller was tired, caught between her paperwork and my deed. Her paperwork is current, yours is old. It's a civil matter, he muttered. Take it to court. Margot's grin when he said that, it was like she'd already won. But the minute she threatened Hazel's garden, "By next week I'll have a bulldozer here to make way for the clubhouse parking lot," something snapped inside me. She'd made a tactical mistake thinking fear would break me. But if you're a man of science, anger is just fuel for research. That night I tore through 4 decades of hydrology notes and land records, piecing together every scrap that might win this war. At the county archives, while regular folks argued over parking tickets upstairs, I was down in the basement with a records custodian who looked at me like I was crazy. "You want plat maps from '65? That'll take hours." "I've got time," I said. What I found in those dusty ledgers and old microfiche, well, it changed everything. My property lines, clear as day, extended all the way into the lake, marked private aquifer access. The new maps Margot was waving around, they'd sloppily painted a drainage layer over the whole valley, probably a lazy clerical shortcut from the last digitization. But here's the twist. The so-called public access road Margot's buyers were using wasn't actually HOA land. It was a utility easement orphaned during a developer bankruptcy 20 years ago. Never sold. Never claimed, just sitting in legal limbo with unpaid taxes piling up. And there it was on the county's delinquent tax list, scheduled for public auction in 2 days. All I needed was a cashier's check, and the road, the only path to Margot's fake lagoon, would be mine. Even better, a quick search showed Margot's own sales office was deep in foreclosure, mortgaged to the hilt, and she was months behind. She was selling a dream built on sand, and the tide was coming in. Auction day. I walked into that stuffy county room, clutching Hazel's life insurance check. The auctioneer got to parcel 49B, the ghost access road. Opening bid was $4,000. Some guy tried to lowball it, but I raised my paddle and said $10,000. Just like that, the whole road was mine, every inch. Then I bought the tax lien on Margot's sales center for $12,000 more. Legally, I owned her only access and her office's debt. I called Big Jim, the best contractor in the county, and by sunrise the next morning there was a 10-foot fence topped with razor wire blocking the so-called public easement. The sign on it read "Private Property. Absolutely no trespassing." By 9, Margot's champagne brunch for her investors rolled down in a parade of golf carts. She was all in white, microphone in hand, painting word pictures of a lifestyle that ended in a pile-up at my brand-new fence. The look on her face, rage, disbelief, desperation, it was something to see. She screamed for the sheriff, claiming I'd blocked a public emergency route. But Miller checked my fresh deeds, shook his head, and announced to the crowd, "Anson owns this road, the lake, and the ground you're standing on. You're trespassing." The investors turned on Margot like a pack of hounds. "You liar. I gave you $50,000. They mobbed her golf cart, demanding refunds while she stammered about clerical errors. She had nothing left, her whole empire exposed as a house of cards. But it wasn't over. By that night, Margot was online spinning the story her way. A grainy clip of me behind the fence, looking every bit the crazy hermit, captioned, "Unstable neighbor holds community hostage." Suddenly, strangers were calling for my head, folks who never even set foot in my woods. I didn't take the bait. I doubled down on security, knowing full well Margot would rather torch the field than leave it behind. And I was right. Just after 2 in the morning, my motion alarms pinged. There she was, dragging 2 heavy jerry cans right up to the unfenced limestone edge, pouring poison into the water, muttering curses. I let the cameras roll, watching my sensors spike as the chemicals hit. Heartbroken but calm, I collected water samples, then called the EPA, the feds, not the local boys. This wasn't vandalism anymore, it was a federal crime. Next morning, they hit her with the full weight of the law. Black SUVs, zip ties, and a prosecutor who made sure the video played in front of the whole court. Wire fraud, environmental crimes, bank fraud. The jury took less than 3 hours, guilty on all counts. Judge gave her 18 years plus restitution. That's justice, old school and modern, all at once. It took time, years honestly, for the lake to heal. Every cent of Margot's fortune went to remediation. The birds came back. The water ran clear. The new neighbors kept their distance, respected the boundaries, and asked for nothing but advice on wildflowers. I realized then justice isn't just a verdict, it's restoration. It's the lake, the trees, the silence Hazel loved. Margot's name faded, but the water stayed. And in the end, that's all that mattered. So let me ask you, if someone threatened to erase your most sacred place for a quick buck, how far would you go to stop them? Would you trust the system or dig deep and fight back with everything you've got? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me your own story about justice, boundaries, or fighting the good fight. And if this story hit home, just wait till you hear what's coming next.